I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, please go to the book of Matthew, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 6th lesson in our study of Matthew. Yesterday we studied Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 6, discussing the wise men coming to Herod seeking Jesus. If you missed that episode, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on multiple platforms by going to one of the different sites listed on the bottom of the screen. Today we're going to begin with Matthew 2, verse 7 and read through verse 12. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the New King James Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's read Matthew chapter 2, beginning at verse 7. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the young child, and when you have found him, bring back word to me, that I may come and worship him also. When they heard the king, they departed, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then, being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way. In yesterday's episode, we had the wise men from the east coming to Jerusalem, looking for the King of the Jews, who was born, for they were following his star. These wise men, sometimes called the Magi, so named because wise men is translated from the Greek word magos, meaning scientist. Some people think that these were magicians. I don't believe that. I believe that they were what we would call philosophers or astronomers today, hence why they were looking at the stars. We noted that Matthew does not tell us how many of them there were, simply that they were from the east. Herod inquires of the scribes where this Christ would be born, to which they quote Micah 5 verse 2, which states that he would be born in Bethlehem. The Jews at this time had been expecting the Messiah to be coming shortly, based on their interpretation of the 70 weeks contained in the prophecy found in Daniel 9:24-29. So, with the wise men coming, claiming to be looking for this Messiah, perhaps this was the time that Daniel spoke of. Upon hearing the words of the scribes, Herod calls the wise men together secretly and asks them how long they had seen the star for. With Herod calling them secretly tells us that his motives were clearly not pure. We don't get the answer that the wise men gave, but based on the fact that the wise men find Jesus in a house, and the fact that Luke records that Mary offered the purification sacrifice required under the law 33 days after Jesus was born, and the fact that Herod kills all the male children 2 years of age and under, we can determine that at least a little time has passed, but we don't know for certain exactly how much time has passed. Herod then sent the wise men to Bethlehem, charging them to return and tell him where the child was, so that he could come and worship him as well. With the wise men not knowing the character of Herod, this would not seem like a sinister request, but we know the character of Herod. History records that he was a very jealous man who not only had his wife killed, but 3 of his sons as well, with his brother only escaping execution by dying first. Herod was not wanting to go and worship Jesus. He was wanting to go and kill the one who might one day lay claim to his throne. Herod, like many people today, misunderstood what type of king Jesus was meant to be. He was not going to be a physical king, but a spiritual king, ruling on the spiritual throne of David in heaven. The wise men left Herod, and behold, the star led them all the way to Bethlehem, where Jesus was. We don't know what this star was. Was it a star, or simply a light in the sky that could be mistaken for a star, like a planet, a comet, a meteor, or a supernova? Was this purely a natural phenomenon used by God to serve his purpose, or was this completely miraculous? We simply don't know, and it does not matter. When they arrived, they found Jesus along with Joseph and Mary in a house. They worshiped Jesus, showing us again that Jesus, even at this time, was God in the flesh, for only God is deserving of worship. They present 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These gifts would be very expensive, such as is afforded a king. Gold, of course, is precious and is used for money. Frankincense was very fragrant and often used in worship, and myrrh is an ointment or medicine chiefly used for embalming. The wise men truly worshiped Jesus, which is evidenced by the gifts they brought. Upon leaving, they were told in a dream not to return to Herod, a command they obey. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, Lord willing, tomorrow for the question and answer edition, as well as the weekly sermon edition of this podcast. This week's question is, who are the elect? Well, the sermon will be titled, I Thought. We will continue our study of Matthew, the Lord willing, on Monday, beginning at Matthew 2:13.
Thank you, Jeremy, and to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have a question or comment, please leave it below or email it to answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, Lord's willing, tomorrow for the question and answer edition as well as the weekly sermon edition of this podcast. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to